Hello everyone, welcome to Semi-Homesteading with Abby. Thank you all so much for tuning in to today's video. What semi-homesteading means, if you're new, is that I'm trying to learn as many skills as possible, like sewing, cooking, being more sustainable, composting, like anything that you get like a Laura Ingalls vibe from, I am trying to learn. Make sure to subscribe if you want to follow along with my journey of learning all these things. Today, I'm going to show you my adventure of trying to sew a little diaper bag. So I wanted to sew this pouch that I found online where you can put in your diapers and your wipes and a couple essentials so that if you don't want to take your entire diaper bag to go change your baby, you can just grab this little pouch and the baby and you got it covered. Really, really great concept. I was so excited to find this and try to make it. Now I want to do this preface because I make two bags in this video. The first one I kind of go rogue on, and I didn't really understand the concept of the pattern because it was like a double lined pouch and things were getting very confusing, and I found kind of a simple way to do it even if it wasn't the most efficient. And then I try again, and the first time I try again, I made a mistake. I went to bed overnight and I realized how to fix it. So I woke up, I fixed it, and the second one is a lot better. I didn't want to make you go through like the entire process of making the second bag, so I just did like a little synopsis and showed how I improved. Overall, you know, this is what this whole channel is about, is improving yourself and improving your skills. So I show you the process, I make two different pouches, and I really think I got better by the second one. So I hope you enjoy the video. If you are a seamstress, if you're skilled at sewing, please leave your tips below because I really want to get better. I think sewing is such a good skill to have. If you have tips or resources or blog posts or anything that you think is worth watching, drop that below, send them to me, and I will go read them. So thank you all so much for watching, and let's get into the video. Okay, to start off, I have my sewing machine, and I'll give you a little bit of a wider view here in a minute, but I have my sewing machine, I have a sewing kit just in case there's any other, you know, essentials I need in there. I also have this really cute fabric. I'm really into this kind of quilted look, and it's also, you know, we're from Colorado, so it's kind of a nice ode to Colorado and the West with like these nice bandana patterns and kind of like a quilted pattern. So I really like this. Now it says you need 2 pieces of fabric that are 1/4 yard each. One will be like the outside of the pouch and one will be the inside. This is a 1/2 yard of fabric. I think I'm just gonna use this same fabric for both the inside and the outside of the pouch because I didn't really plan too far in advance to do this project. I don't have a ton of fabric that goes together, so this is enough to make the entire thing. So I'm going to just use this for both the inside and the outside, and I think it'll be really cute. So the first thing I need to do is cut this right down the middle, like fold it and cut it into 2 1/4 yard pieces of fabric. So let's do that. Also, you're gonna see a very interesting background here. This is my podcast studio, so there's like a background taped to the wall. Don't be alarmed. Okay, we now have 2 1/4 yards of fabric that we can now fold over and cut the pattern out. Now, I'm honestly just kind of gonna wing the pattern because I looked it up and it doesn't seem very hard. Famous last words. Also, this is my podcast studio, so you can see like I have this background and then no background over here, and it's not the best setup, but from the podcast you only see it from straight on, so it looks better. Okay, but I'm going to fold this now in half and then cut out my front and back pouch sides here for the front and the back. I'm actually gonna get a set of wipes to judge how big I need this. All right, I got my pack of wipes. So this is how tall it needs to be with the flap. Okay, this is our back piece. Now I'm gonna overlay it onto the next piece and cut the exact same length. All right, there's already a slight problem, and this is why I'm not telling you that I am an expert or anything. Basically, I was supposed to tape the top part and the bottom part of the fabric together, so like the flap and the main body. I didn't realize that, so I cut the main body and then I'm cutting the flaps separately. So it's salvageable. I just need to sew the flap onto the body of it. I wouldn't have had to do that, and it would have been a little bit easier if I had just, you know, if I had just cut one big piece with the flap included. So that's a bit of a bummer, but that's okay. Now this little scrap piece can now be used for my flap. So I have the fabric scrap. I cut off the little white edge, and this will be my first flap. So I am gonna make this one a little bit curved so that it doesn't like have a weird overlap with the rest of the bag. So I'm just gonna make this a little bit curved on the edge here and then cut out the same piece with my other fabric. So we have the inside and the outside. I think I need one of those basically like pizza cutters to cut the fabric, because this is quite difficult, honestly. Okay, that will be the flap. All right, we're gonna do the exact same thing to the other piece of fabric. I just am overlaying the current flap that I have, and we'll cut this out. All right, we have our 2 flaps. So this is very exciting. Okay, we have all of our pieces cut, and now we're gonna sew, and this is where it's gonna get interesting. So honestly, the pattern is a little bit confusing to me about how, because you know, you have like an inner layer and an outer layer of the pouch. I think I'm just gonna try to somewhat wing it. Like I'm gonna put together the bottom section and the flap for both of the back sides. Then I'm gonna put together the front sides, and then we're just going to, we're gonna take it as we go. You know, how we end up putting this all together. So let's just try, okay? I know I should be following a pattern more, but we're gonna attempt. Okay, I have the back pieces both sewn on with a flap, so that's good. Now I have the both back pieces. I'm gonna put front side to front side together and sew those, flip them inside out. That'll be their back piece. I'm gonna do the same thing for the front piece, put them like front side to front side, sew all around it, flip it inside out, and then I'll just put the back and the front together. I don't know, the pattern does it in a different way, but this is what I'm gonna try, and we'll just see how it goes. Okay, so I just wanted to check that we are kind of on the right track here. So here's the back, and this is the flap. And here is our wipes for size. Let's see if I can show you. So I think these are gonna fit well with the flap. So we are now gonna take our back pieces, sew those up, flip them inside out, and then combine the front and the back. Okay, we have our back piece and we have our front piece. So I'm going to sew these together, all 4. They both kind of look the same, but I guess I'll choose which side is front and back. I'll sew them on the edges and then flip it inside out, and that is our pouch. Okay, so I sewed them together and flipped it around. So here is the pouch. That's so cute. I'm actually in love. Now, obviously, I think if I had followed exactly what their pattern had said, the seams would have been less bulky. Like down here, there's definitely a lot of seams. I think the method that I was not understanding in the pattern was helping to prevent that, to make it a little bit more seamless. But overall, like, it looks really, really good, and I am so happy with how it turned out. And the pattern used Velcro for their bag. I am gonna try to use snaps. I got sew on snaps, and if I had thought about it enough, I may have tried to sew on the snaps before I closed, I sewed this closed. But I think it's okay. Like, I'm just gonna sew through both sides, and I really don't think it's gonna be too big of a deal. Again, this is kind of a beginner project, so I'm learning how to sew. But that's something to think about in the future, is if I want to add snaps and it's like a double line thing, maybe I should be adding snaps before. I am done, okay? I am done. Again, I'm just gonna preface this. This is not the prettiest thing you will ever see, okay? I should have put the snaps on before I closed it, and I also probably should have done white thread. But guess what? I really don't care. Okay, so I'm just proud that this looks like a cute little bag. So next time I will improve for sure. Very spacious, very roomy. Even if it was a brand new pack of wipes, we got a lot of room in here. And then we can just snap it closed. And then I just open, slide it out. So now when I go change my baby's diaper, all I need to bring is this and my baby. Oh, and you know what? Actually, I'm gonna put a rolled up onesie in here and a Ziploc bag as well as a diaper or two, because then if, you know, if my baby has a blowout and we need to change outfits, I can have like a little thin rolled up onesie just as an emergency little outfit. Okay, everyone, I know I'm not looking my best, all right? I just got out of the bathtub and it's like 9 p.m. and I'm going to bed in like an hour. But while I was in the tub, I think I figured out how to do the pattern actually correctly and better. So I think I'm gonna make another one. Okay, it did not go according to plan. Like, the pouch is somehow on the inside. It was a valiant attempt. I'll have to try another day. I thought I understood, but I was flipping everything inside out. I was like, the pouch is on the inside. I don't know. Okay, what you're about to see is me fixing my issue. So I realized overnight that all I had to do was basically unstitch the seam on the bottom of the bag. Like, those were not supposed to be connected. And so I undid that and was able to flip the rest of the bag in, and it was all back to normal, so fixed it. Okay, so now I just will sew this together and then put a snap right here, and I'll have a new bag. Okay, it is after I'm done with the pouch, and I want to show you the finished product because it looks so much better than the first one. Okay, so here is the pouch. As you can see, I actually figured out how to do the snap only on the inside. So there's the snap, and it's not showing through to the outside. I did it on the inside of the fabric, which was a plus. I have the other snap on this side. I did white string, so that's an improvement. And then we have our flap and our pouch. I made the flap a little bit smaller this time, so you know, that's all good. And then I also made the back part with the flap all one fabric like the pattern originally suggested, instead of like cutting out a separate flap. Honestly, either way is fine. I don't mind the seam on the flap. I think it kind of gives it some separation, so I never really minded that, but I did try to do it the way the pattern suggested, and I was able to make this great pouch. So when I go change my baby, I just grab this. It holds all the diapers, wipes, a Ziploc, and my onesie in here. So we are good. And I feel like this is gonna be super, super helpful in our traveling. I totally get why people are super into sewing, because it is just like the best feeling ever to make something with your own hands, you know, and have it look pretty darn good. So that is all for this week's video. Thank you all so much for watching, following along, me improving. Again, make sure to leave your tips in the comments below. That's all for now, and I will see you next week. Bye, everyone.